Thank you very much. Welcome in. You are with Ask the Congressman. You're speaking with Congressman MacArthur tonight. What's your name and where are you from?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
All right. My name is Jeff. I was at the last town hall. I want to talk about single payer. I fundamentally am outraged by the idea that we want to fund health care through for-profit-based insurance companies. You want to insure your car? That's fine. You want to insure your house? That's fine. But it is absolutely immoral to fund health care, our lives and our deaths.
Hey, Jeff, this is called Ask the Congressman. I know who you are. I know how you feel about it. Why don't you ask me a question and let me answer it?
Why don't you actually get off the script? I've heard everything you've had to say. I've heard everything you said at Waretown. I heard 2 hours of the same answers in Willingboro. I've seen you on TV. It's the same thing. Fundamentally, Congressman, you don't agree that health care should be not-for-profit. And that's a problem. And that's why you've got problems with us.
So
you said it was going to be too difficult to do health care in a couple of months. It took you 3 weeks. You want me to ask you a question? I want you to answer this right now. Why did you vote for the most heinous, horrible bill that 17% of the population wanted? Everyone else said don't do it, and you did it in 3 weeks. You want a yes or no question? You want a question? Answer me.
All right, Jeff. You've asked your question. Now I'm going to answer it. I'd ask people to consider this. When did you reach this dramatic conclusion that single payer is the only answer? Was it a year ago? Was it 6 months ago? Was it 20 years ago? I think it's interesting that some people that think single payer is suddenly the only answer for health care and everything else is grossly immoral. Have you had that conclusion for a long, long time, or is this a sudden revelation? Single payer has been talked about for decades. There are very, very few people that have thought that that was a good idea. California recently thought, let's explore single payer. California's entire budget is $200 billion for everything. Everything California does, state government, is $200 billion. Single payer in California, they concluded, that alone would be $400 billion. $400 billion. A progressive think tank looked at single payer and concluded it would be $47 trillion over the next 10 years. What you're talking about will break the country's economic back. It's a bad idea. There's no competition. The government will decide everything. You'll have bureaucrats to go to find out if you can have hip surgery or knee surgery, or if you can get care for your wife who's sick or your children who are sick. It's a bad idea. Now, you say it's immoral to have profits for health care. I guess it would be immoral to have profits for food. I mean, food is more basic than health care. So no profits for food distribution, no profits for health care. I guess, what good is health care if you don't have a place to live? I mean, that's pretty basic, having a house. I guess we should have no profit motive in housing either. What you're describing, Jeff, is socialism, pure and simple. You don't want any human needs to be met through capitalism. You want to take it off the shelf and have government deliver it. I think you're wrong. And every time I've talked to you, you have this outrage. The first meeting you came to, you were outraged about one thing. Now you're outraged about another thing. I think you're a guy looking for attention with a lot of outrage. You've asked your question. I've answered it. And I think it's time to move on to another caller.